Hello again, Internet. Thank you for joining me. Today I'm going to talk about my experience of being a dad for the second week now. So far they're going okay, the usual to be expected. Sometimes baby keeps me up at night, sometimes baby's really fussy, the usual baby stuff. But I mean, all part of the job. All part of the job. This is what I signed up for. I'm still definitely enjoying it, so that's good. So this week I'm learning really fast that every baby is unique and you cannot expect anything. Expect the unexpected, and that is it. Like I've said in probably the last video, I'm pretty sure I talked about it a lot of times during my pregnancy blog too. Basically our baby is weird. Let's just sum it up like that. She definitely deviates from all the typical norms that you would expect from a 2-week-old, and it kind of makes things both worrisome, amusing, and confusing all at the same time. For example, this past week, she's actually been doing kind of okay with sleep. There was one point where she slept like 7 hours in a row. I kid you not, 7 hours straight. She fell asleep at like 12 o'clock midnight one night and did not wake up until 7 o'clock at all. Like, not to eat, not to complain about a poopy diaper, nothing. She slept through it all. And that was kind of nice as a parent, not having to wake up to feed her once or twice in the middle of the night. That was a nice change of pace. And she's kind of done that fairly often. Well, sometimes she'll sleep for 5 or 6 hours on end instead of waking up every 3 to 4. And that's a pretty nice relief. But yeah, at the same time, it's confusing. The first time she did that, we woke up in like a cold sweat at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and realized, that we hadn't fed her. It was like, did you feed the baby at all? No. Did you feed the baby at all? No. Who fed the baby during the night? Ah! And so we checked on her, and with all the scary stuff that as new parents that we hear about, sudden infant death syndrome and stuff like that, we're just looking in her crib, we're like, is she okay? And of course I poke her at one point just to see if she's okay, just to see if I get any sort of stimulus, and it gets her awake and crying. I'm like, oh good, she's alive and awake. I've had one of those moments. I've done that several times as a parent where I just wake my child up on accident trying to make sure that she's okay. But she is okay. She is healthy. Everything's going well. I'm still getting used to the fact that she's kind of doing her own thing. She usually does cry when she's hungry now. We can sometimes catch feeding cues ahead of time so we can feed her before she gets too hungry. We have had to start to kind of limit how much she eats, particularly because we feed her a lot with bottles with breast milk that my wife pumps. And sometimes we've mistaken, gassiness with hunger cues. Well, she'll just, after we feed her, she'll just keep crying like she wants more. But she doesn't want more, she's just really gassy. And there was one time that we fed her like 5 ounces just because she kept crying. She usually eats 4. And we fed her an extra ounce and then sat up to burp her, and she lost like 2 ounces all at once. Funny thing was is she puked, and then she was just kind of sitting there like, whoa, what an experience, and then fell right asleep. Okay, child, so don't think that your first throw up was that traumatic, but you just fell asleep right after puking. Be my guest. There has also been one time this week where she just got really fussy and she was just crying, and we couldn't figure out for the life of us what was going on. We didn't know if she was gassy. She wasn't eating. We had fed her earlier before, so we figured she wasn't hungry. She had a clean diaper. We didn't know what was going on. She was just crying, bawling, being as loud as she could, and then all of a sudden, and just passed out in my arms. And I'm just holding her. I'm like, child. Long story short, she was okay, so no worries there. But it was kind of scary. It was like, honey, the baby just passed out. I didn't do it. and I mean, she just went right to sleep. So that was weird. Okay, so that's probably the gist of my video right there. Don't expect anything. I mean, hopefully, I mean, there have been plenty of things that she follows baby norms, you know, in terms of like how much she wets her diaper, or, you know, how fussy she gets. There's definitely lots of the normal baby activity, but like some things we just can't expect. And so, yeah, we're still trying to figure out and learn her personality, try to figure out what her desired feeding schedule and feeding size is, you know. We're slowly figuring that out, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. I do feel like as a dad, I've learned a lot more about who my child is, what she likes, what she doesn't like, how to calm her, how to soothe her, and also slightly how to annoy her, which fortunately she doesn't seem to be too annoyed yet. But now that she's opening her eyes more often, she's kind of got this stitched inquisitive brow and looks around at me like, huh? What? And will kind of just stare at me like, who are you? And why are you this crazy? Other quirks, I guess, that she's had. We found out that she really likes sucking on stuff. In fact, she's got excellent neck control for just a 2-week-old. Like, she can almost lift her head up and keep it steady. I mean, it's still shaky. We still have to support her head, but she just keeps turning her head and moving her head around to try to find something to suck on. Like if we burp her, for example, she'll try to suck on my finger, and she's done that so often that she's like built really good neck muscles. So that's kind of amusing. We also found that she kind of is a cuddler. She will fall if she's really fussy. Sometimes all she wants to do is be held. She'll be crying while she's in her crib or in the bouncer, and as soon as you pick her up or someone picks her up, she calms down. So she just likes to be held, I guess. That's kind of interesting. I've also found out that she likes it when I walk her around, especially if I like hold her up so she's like in a sitting position in front of me, and I just walk her around the house and I just show her everything in the house. She seems to calm down about that. Like, she enjoys just walking around the house, which I don't know. I don't know if it's just a quirk that's unique to her or what. I know my wife, when she gets restless, she likes to walk around the house and sometimes even run, take small dashes around the apartment whenever possible. And I guess my daughter's doing the same thing now. I don't know. She just likes to get up and walk around. Of course, she can't walk. She demands through cries that I pick her up and show her the house. And she never gets bored with it, apparently. She calms right down after she's fussing. Other than that, everything's going well. Granted, we've had some issues trying to figure out sleep schedule, but, we're slowly figuring that out. The best thing that we've done is we've taken turns to get up in the middle of the night. My wife has volunteered to wake up a little bit more often than not, just that way I can sleep and be awake enough for work, especially those days because I have to drive all over the place, depending on the day of the week. It kind of depends. There's some days where I only have a 15-minute drive. There's some days I have an hour-long drive. And this past week I had to drive for an hour pretty much every day. And that's just one way, that 1 hour to where I'm supposed to work for that day and then 1 hour back. So she's taken a lot more of the night schedule to rock our baby, feed our baby while I've slept. I must admit, I feel slightly guilty that, baby's awake at 1 a.m., my wife gets up to feed her, and I roll back over and go to sleep. Then baby wakes up at 5 a.m., and I roll back over to get 1 more hour of sleep. And my wife is just great. Yeah, so she's doing everything she can to make sure that the baby's taken care of in the middle of the night and that I get plenty of sleep for work, which has been really helpful because it's kind of hard to work with only 5 hours of sleep. My coworkers have kind of noticed, but fortunately they've been patient with me. That's good. But I've been trying to get plenty of rest so I can do the work that I need to. My wife has just helped out a lot with that. The weekends, though, I try to make sure that I am up and doing the housework while my wife catches up on sleep because, come Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, she's just tired and done. And so I try to step in and help a lot there. So it's kind of weird balance. We're still trying to figure out exactly the best way to do it, but, the nice thing is that my wife and I have talked a lot as to what sort of schedule we should set for ourselves, and it's really helped both of us to get this more sleep. That's for sure. Oh yes. Oh, and best part being new parents is always worrying about your child. So this past week, my wife and I, got to like go out on a date. Have some us time. One of the grandparents was like, "Oh yeah, I'll totally come over and watch the baby. Well, you two go out." So we got to go out, see a movie, get some ice cream. And my wife, like at 3 or 4 different times during the movie, is just like suddenly startled. Is my baby okay? I'm like, she's fine. She's with grandma. But is she okay? And like she got distracted from the movie just like that, like 3 or 4 times. It was kind of amusing. So yeah, definitely. Like I'm at work. Sometimes I'll think, how's my baby doing? We've got one of those, baby app trackers. My wife can log down when she feeds the baby, when the baby goes to sleep, how many times she changes the baby's diaper, and I'll find myself, being on that app, during the day, checking in every once in a while just to see how my baby's doing. So yeah, didn't think I'd get so involved. Well, I guess that's not the right way to put it. I didn't think I'd be this worried. I think that's the best way to say it. I didn't think I'd be this worried to the point where I'm checking on my baby so often. But yeah, it just kicks in. I always freak out as to how she's doing. If I wake up in the middle of the night, it's because I'm trying to look over to see if she's still breathing, which she's fine. We make sure she's in a proper sleeping position. We follow all the proper protocol, but still, as a parent, I didn't realize I'd worry so much about this. One other thing I never expect is just how cutesy I would get with my baby. I expected, some of the usual stuff, like, being amused and adored with her, during her first bath or something like that. But like, everything just seems to be cute. Like I've got my cute little baby voice that I can speak with her with, and oh, she's so cute, and I've got her little phrases, and yeah, I didn't expect myself to go that way, It's weird, just how cutesy I get with her. And I don't know if it's just because she's a girl. I don't know if I'd be this cutesy with the baby if, say, we had a boy. But, it's kind of fun, I will admit. It's kind of fun just to talk with her, especially in all the cutesy tones, and play with her. She can't do much in terms of playing, but, I still get involved a little bit. It's still fun. I didn't realize how cutesy I would get. That's probably it for this week. Nothing else really to talk about, but thank you once again, Internet, for joining me. I'll try to keep up with these weekly updates. Easier said than done, especially because work is starting to pick up for me, so I may not have times on weekends to shoot and upload videos on time, but I'll definitely try to keep a weekly update for another few weeks, just to let you know how the transition to fatherhood is going. And as always, if you know anyone that might benefit from my viewpoint or would enjoy seeing me learn how to be a new dad, feel free to share this video with them. Go right on ahead. I would appreciate it. In the meantime, Internet, stay awesome. Have a good week. And I will see you next week. I'll probably still be just as tired though, so this isn't going to change for a little bit.